When Survivor 50 was announced, fans immediately began speculating about which legends would return and which long-running dynamics would be reignited. Few relationships loom larger in Survivor history than the volatile, unforgettable connection between Colby Donaldson and Jerri Manthey. From the Australian outback to all-stars and heroes versus villains, their push and pull became a defining storyline of the franchise's early years. That's why Colby's return without Jerri feels almost surreal, not just for viewers, but for Colby himself. Colby has admitted that stepping into Survivor 50 without Jerri was something he had never truly imagined. For decades, their names have been linked, their arcs intertwined in the minds of fans. Whether they were clashing, tolerating each other, or begrudgingly working together, Jerri's presence always shaped Colby's game in some way. This time, though the familiar spark, both the tension and the energy is missing. According to Colby, realizing Jerri wouldn't be out there hit him earlier than expected. Even before the game began, he felt the absence. In previous seasons, simply knowing Jerri was part of the cast influenced his mental preparation. He anticipated conflict, strategy shifts, and emotional landmines. Without her, the game feels quieter but also more unpredictable in a different way. Colby has reflected on how much of his Survivor identity was built in contrast to Jerri's. Early on, he was framed as the clean-cut Texas hero, while Jerri was cast as the outspoken villain. Over time, those labels softened, blurred, and even flipped, but the dynamic between them remained essential. Playing without her has forced Colby to confront who he is in the game when that long-standing narrative is gone. He's acknowledged that, oddly enough, Jerri's presence used to ground him. Even when they were at odds, she was a known variable, someone he understood, someone whose gameplay he could anticipate. In Survivor 50, surrounded by other legends with their own reputations and strategies, Colby finds himself navigating a social landscape without that familiar anchor. Colby has also been candid about how age and perspective have changed his outlook. In earlier seasons, his rivalry with Jerri felt personal, intense, and sometimes exhausting. Looking back now, he recognizes how much television magic that friction created and how it helped cement both of them as Survivor icons. There's a sense of appreciation that wasn't always present in the moment. Without Jerri, Colby says he feels less boxed into a role. There's no expectation of fireworks, no assumed storyline waiting to unfold. That freedom is refreshing, but it also comes with pressure. Fans aren't just watching him as Colby versus Jerri anymore, they're watching Colby, full stop. Every decision, every alliance, every misstep belongs solely to him. He's admitted that part of him misses the spark she brought to camp life. Jerri challenged him, pushed his buttons, and forced him to react. That friction sharpened his gameplay in ways he didn't always appreciate at the time. Now, he has to find motivation from within and from entirely new dynamics. Rather than leaning on a rivalry that once came naturally, Colby has been careful to emphasize that there's no bad blood behind Jerri's absence. He speaks about her with respect and a hint of nostalgia, acknowledging that their shared history is a major reason Survivor is still talking about both of them decades later. In his words, "You don't rewrite Survivor history without Jerri Manthey, and you don't tell Colby Donaldson's story without her either." As Survivor 50 unfolds, Colby's journey stands as a quiet evolution rather than a loud callback. He's no longer the young challenge beast fueled by rivalry and pride. Instead, he's a veteran player reflecting on legacy, relationships, and what it means to compete when the past isn't physically standing across the fire from you. For longtime fans, watching Colby play without Jerri is bittersweet. It marks the end of an era while opening the door to something new. And for Colby himself, Survivor 50 isn't just another return, it's a chance to redefine his place in the game, proving that even without one of reality TV's most iconic counterparts, his story still has plenty left to say.